All right, folks, let's cut through the noise. There's a storm brewing up in Minnesota that's got everybody talking. Viral videos, federal funding freezes, and serious accusations flying at childcare and healthcare centers, many of which owned by Somali Americans. What started as a simple YouTuber's investigation into supposedly empty daycare facilities turned into a full-blown, full-on national story with federal agencies stepping in, political leaders weighing in, and whole communities pushed into the spotlight. Today, we're going to unpack what's actually going on, why it matters, and how this mess, both online and off, could change the way the public funds are protected. Buckle up. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Today's Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Graham. I've got both Dave and Ash back with me in studio again today. It's great to have the whole team back together. And like we said in the intro, we are digging into the fraud allegations up there in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with the Somali population primarily. Dave, I mean, what are your initial thoughts when you saw this whole story blow up coming from Nick Shirley, the YouTuber?
Well, I actually stumbled across the video a couple days ago, and normally I don't watch a lot of stuff like that because I feel like it's kind of clickbaitish, like man on the street type of thing. But this, I was like, oh, okay, this fraud, I'll watch it. And it was like, okay, this guy knocks on these doors and tries to like get an application to put his kid in the show in the daycare center, and they just act like they're disinterested in business, and they act like they just crack the door open and they really don't want to talk, and they may not speak much English. So to me, doing that multiple times and getting a very similar type of response is very odd, because it would make sense to, you have a new customer, maybe, yeah, bring them in, put them with a employee and give them a tour. That would make sense. Or to say, hey, you know what, we're not doing tours right now, we're really busy. Can we meet tomorrow, set up a time? I mean, most businesses function like a business, and this definitely threw red flags at me right away.
Oh, absolutely. It did the same thing for me. I mean, when I first saw the video, I'm like, okay, I know fraud goes around all the time, but it just kept getting bigger and bigger. When he shows the videos of walking by the childcare centers in the middle of the day, middle of the week, and there's no one there, no children, no nothing. But then when you look into it, they're registered for 40 kids per day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself the question, where are the kids? I mean, Ash, I mean, what do you think?
Well, I've been following Nick Shirley for a while, and man, he's really good. He's a very good investigative in journalism. He's revealed a lot of stuff going on even in Europe and things like that. So when I saw that, I actually really wasn't surprised. I've seen a lot of fraud. Even I'm from New York, so
you're used to it.
I'm aware of fraud. I see a lot of fraud. I think it's interesting that it took this much for now maybe there to be a tax rebellion. And I'm like, there should have been one back in 2008 with the whole housing crisis, the recession, Obama. There was a bunch of fraud being revealed then, and no one wanted a band to do anything. And even now I'm kind of like, is this just talk, or are we actually going to like try to fight this? And I don't agree. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish your point.
I don't agree with like, if Congress decides to do an investigation, I just don't agree with that. I think we need to slap charges immediately and go after the fraud and not talk about it, drag it out, because they've done this before in Congress.
Well, and then here's the thing. The fraud is also coming from Congress. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. The fraud is coming from there. Yeah. They know where this money's going. They've known where it's been the whole time. So Congress investigating something is honestly the same thing as, let's say there is a officer-involved shooting where the officer is wrong and his own department investigates, they're going to cover things up. They're going to do whatever they can. It's conflict of interest. So Congress doing the investigation, I think, is absolutely asinine. They need to bring in, honestly, Doge. They need to have Doge be the ones that investigate this, because they're going to find it and they're going to be cool about it.
Elon's coming out saying that this is just the tip of the iceberg. So Doge probably already knows about this and is tried to wave the flag, and they're probably not getting any traction because Congress is not going to vote or do anything against their best interest and their generational wealth of tax dollars stealing. They're not going to stop that. So
exactly.
It's really up to us. Like,
and Ash
that Nick guy, we all need to be that Nick guy in our community.
Oh,
That's his
absolutely.
name, right? Nick.
Nick Shirley. Yep.
Nick
Nick
Shirley.
Shirley.
Yep.
Yep. He's an amazing investigative journalist.
Young.
He's very young. I think he's in his 20s, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know a lot about him, but I know enough about him, and I've watched enough of his stuff that this dude definitely knows what he's doing, and he's successful at it. He doesn't put a story out unless that story has proof and evidence to back it up. He's very thorough.
Right.
But Ash, you mentioned, just slapping charges and starting prosecutions. That brings up a good point. I'm actually going to bring up a slide here that kind of just details out a little bit, not in full detail, but if our viewers can see this now, since 2018, the federal government has given $18 billion in child care assistance. They are suspecting that upwards of $9 billion since 2018 is suspected into the fraud cases. So, I mean, that's half of that money. That's billions of dollars that has just disappeared under the guise of actually being used for the right reasons.
Yep.
Yeah, this started in 2020 with a Feeding Our Future fraud that came out, which I didn't actually hear about, or I did and forgot, but like I've been looking into it and I've heard about that. And it just makes me wonder, like, with Doge kind of gone silent and the stuff coming out from independent journalists, like how much more fraud is really out there? I mean, it's probably every state, every county, everywhere is just robbing us blind, and we work hard for our money and we're taxed like 50% when you add everything up. And then when government comes in and just steals it and then fills their pockets or fills the pockets of another country, like Americans need to at some point stand up. And I'm talking Americans, not white people, every culture of American citizen, all of us band together.
If you are a citizen
with this type of stuff.
And let's make sure that we let people know that we do exclude from that citizen category anybody who is not a naturalized citizen. If you came here illegally, you don't count. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. You're
and not sorry at the same time. You don't count.
I would like to add, like, there's a lot of fraud even in Pennsylvania. We used to be, we had rental properties in Pennsylvania, and there was so much freaking fraud, even dealing with those renters in Section 8, doing what they needed to destroy our apartments so they could get up the list on Section 8 housing. I mean, just with my mom dealing with cancer and falling behind on the property tax, the freaking property tax, because we owned our house. We didn't have a mortgage. Just think about that. Like, here they are doing favors for illegals, and there's families losing legacy and their actual homes. This just makes me so angry. Like, where's the money? It should. My mom had her Social Security upped, like, it went up by 2 point something percent, right? And then they upped the amount of Medicare that's getting taken out of it. I'm like, why is that being taken out? You already paid into it, right?
Exactly.
Am I wrong on that?
No,
so the
right.
way that system works is based off of fraud. I will just put that out there. The Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security system is based off of fraud. Now, it was never developed that way, but it's the same thing pulling in, with the Somali child care centers is money's given. There's no checks and balances of, is that money actually being used for what it's given for, documentation, all of that. And on the slide here, I'm going to bring it up again. It's pretty easy to see also down on that bottom bullet point that centers are trying to hide it. They're trying to not only commit the fraud, but then also get a charge for tampering with evidence and destruction of evidence. Because I don't know if you guys saw the one video that one of the centers had a break-in, literally the day after Nick Shirley. But if you look at the video, the way that the drywall was cut from the inside. Anybody who's worked on any type of home improvement project can see that drywall was cut from the inside. 100%.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It was an intentional break-in from the inside.
Exactly.
Yep. And this is actually showing Ohio's just recently done some investigation on their daycare, and they're finding out that there's fraud even in Ohio on these daycare centers. So this is not one state. Everybody has to realize, like, this is across the board. And I'm from New York and I lived in Pennsylvania. I'm telling you, fraud is across the board with our government because there's no checks and balance for them. It's too much power.
Exactly.
Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Oh, exactly. And then on that slide, right now, I can confirm that there has been 98 prosecutions handed out. So they're prosecuting 98 people right now. That number is going to rise dramatically in the next couple of weeks. One of the people I would like to see on that prosecution list is Tim Walz himself. He has been included in this. And guess what company or what nationality of company he hired to investigate the fraud? You'll never guess.
Somali.
It is a Somali company that he has hired. He has paid them to go and investigate the fraud. You can't make this stuff
Conflict
up
of interest
at all.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
We're in a South Park episode. When did we cross into this dimension? I think it hit probably in 2018. I think we crossed over into a South Park.
No, it just definitely feels like it. But right now, nobody's killed Kenny, so.
Oh,
but
man.
you know, coming back to the point with it is, this money is meant to actually help people who are in need, who cannot afford childcare. Because I don't know if any of you guys out there have tried to afford childcare. When I was a single dad, I looked into it. I had to go through private people. Like, I had to make friends and find people to watch my kid, because just 1 week of childcare was going to cost me half of my month's earnings for 1 week.
Yeah, when I was little, I used to go to childcare, and after a while, because my mom worked, and after a while, my dad's like, you might as well just quit and stay home, because it's not even worth you working just to pay childcare. So she ended up doing that. So it's very expensive.
Oh,
and
exactly.
that's too bad. But
yeah, that's where this money is supposed to be.
Where we live in a situation now in the economy where both parents kind of have to work in order to be able to be somewhat comfortable.
Yeah, and that's why this money is supposed to be there. It is supposed to be for those families, so that they don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, I have $800, $900, $1,000 going out a month of childcare.
Yeah,
it's those subsidies that are there for the people who need them. And then here in Minnesota, you have dozens, if not hundreds, of companies, including one that couldn't even spell the word learning correctly as a learning center. They have since corrected their sign, but a little too late. There's also something that Nick Shirley uncovered in one facility, in one building. There was over 40 Somali-owned healthcare providers, none of which actually had anywhere to treat patients.
Wow.
All registered to the same address, 40 plus.
Wow.
It's just ridiculous. It's like, how can you sit there and say, oh no, there's no fraud, like so many people are trying to say, when it's blatantly in front of you? All you have to do is open your eyes.
Well, that's the problem. Most people don't know how to open their eyes, or they're brainwashed to one side or the other. And frankly, we got to be kind of ticked off at both sides right now, because I think they're all in on it. And it's only the citizens that can stop it. I mean, that's what happened at our founding. The citizens got frustrated and dealt with it. And I just don't know that Americans have what it takes to do it right now.
Yeah, I don't think the majority of Americans don't have the cojones to actually step up and do something. Ash, you mentioned the tax strike. That's something that if that starts going on, you better believe I'm going to be in on it. I definitely am going to sit there. I'm going to change my information, and it will be a tax strike. They're not going to get any money from me until they can show me and prove to me that they're actually handling the money I give them properly.
That's where I'm at right now, though. Like, I've heard this tax, because they did this when Ron Paul was running for presidency. We talked about defunding the Fed, and they were talking about a tax strike, but like, no one could organize it. I'm like, you have to have a document, and I let my signature be the biggest signature on it. I want commitment. And so far, the American people have showed no commitment to me. Like, yeah, sure, we voted for Trump, but like, you're not changing the community. If you change the heart of the people, which is your neighbor, it's the people you come across daily, you'll change the heart of the country. It's not about politics. And you know, it's really funny. I just listened to Andy Pasilla on this. I don't know if, Dave, you listened to the episode. He even said this too. He said, it's not politics that dictate culture. It's the people that dictate culture, and we're able to change it. And if we don't, I kind of believe him. He's even prophesied. He's like, I don't see America existing if we don't do something. Like, it's going to go away really fast.
Well,
so politics is downstream of culture. So if the culture disintegrates, you're going to have corruption in the politicians. If the culture has people of integrity, then you're going to have a higher standard for your politicians. And we've just let that go away. And they can just do whatever they want with no results. And so they're just taking advantage of us at every angle they can find.
Yeah, and then Ash, you mentioned it too just now of what Andy had said is we dictate community. Well, here's the thing. We also dictate politics. And unfortunately, Americans are not willing to do what it takes to dictate the politics. They're not willing to step up and actually say, hey, this is what we expect you to do. If you don't do it, you're not going to get elected again. They are too afraid to elect somebody new, not because that person's not going to do the job, but because they're scared of the change.
Yeah.
And
well, that's where I'm at, though. Like, I'm afraid to follow everyone on social media because I've seen no commitment. Give me some commitment or some form of commitment. I've been wanting to do a tax rebellion. Trust me, I've been wanting Ron Paul as our freaking president. I was a young voter then. I'm like, I've been wanting like no taxes for the longest time. I'm more libertarian than I think I am conservative at this point.
Yeah, for real. Me too.
Yeah.
I read Ron Paul's book in the Fed.
Boston Tea Party would be a great thing to do again.
Right.
It just has some things.
Let's not travel to Boston for that. Let's just like find a way to do it at home.
What are we supposed to dump in the water at this point?
I don't know. EPA would probably get us for something.
We can do Manitou Lake or Pueblo Reservoir, and we can dump marijuana. Marijuana in the lake.
Yeah, man. Those fish will love us.
Oh, yeah.
They might be a lot easier to catch for a while.
Yeah, just float to the top.
No, they're going to get the munchies. You're just going to drop a bear hook in, and they'll be like, ah.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah,
hey,
there you go.
This is not a bad idea.
All right. Well, hey, back to the point, though, with these daycare centers and healthcare centers, my question that I hope is answered throughout this investigation, which chances are it probably won't be, is who, what, and when. Who said yes to them? What were they originally asking? What was their application based off of? How many kids or whatnot, or with the healthcare, what services were they providing? And when did each one of these centers begin receiving that money? Yeah. Because like Nick Shirley pointed out, he went multiple days to these same locations to say, okay, well, hey, maybe just today, every single parent decided to keep their kid. Chances are that doesn't happen, but he wanted to be sure. Going back again and again and getting the same results shows a pattern, and it shows that they never had 40 kids. They never went through, and some of these other centers, they're helping to feed starving people in these different cities. Oh, well, we're feeding 6,000 kids a day.
Yeah, right.
But they're not feeding anybody but them their wallets.
Yeah.
See, but we've talked about this before. This is why we're like, I'm against welfare for sure. I know you guys like share the same sentiment. I'm not against helping people. My God, no, I'm not. But we need to get back to the communities getting that funding, not these entities, not these illegal immigrants, and not the government. So the funding, I'm totally fine going towards a single mom. I'm not cool with it when it's government run, especially welfare, because my grandma went on welfare for a time being as well. So it's not like it's not needed. I understand that, but there needs to be checks and balances. And when you see this much corruption, how can you even trust the welfare system? Because that was just recent as well.
That's the thing. When I was a single dad, I was on food stamps. I was trying to get into Section 8 housing, but guess what? I got the very minimum food stamps, even though I had a part-time job. I wasn't able to do anything. I knew a family that literally lived in the other part of the duplex I was in. Immigrant family. A mom and 2 kids. So, one more person in the household than me was receiving 6 times the amount of food stamps that I was. She was receiving cash benefits, and her rent was completely taken care of for her. She didn't work. She didn't do anything. She collected child support from the 2 children's fathers and all of this other stuff. And it's like, I don't have anything wrong with the money going into the right people. But here's the thing. you need to either be a permanent resident, naturalized citizen, or birthright citizen in order to draw any type of government assistance. I don't care if you came over here saying, I want to make a better life for myself. That's great. But don't take the taxpayer money, the money that's meant to go to American citizens. It's not meant for them. They should not come over here and have free reign to do whatever they want without any consequences and be getting paid to do it.
And start up their own daycares.
Yeah.
It's almost like, forget the American, forget the white man, because he's evil, because he invented slavery. And now we got to like promote all these other people because if our policies aren't going to work, we need to import people that will vote for us either way. That's what's happening. So it's all intentional. All this is by design. And they want to get us to the point where we throw up our hands and give up. And a lot of people are already there, I think. A lot of people don't even want to vote anymore because they don't believe in the system. So they've done a very good job of installing a communistic style system in our country, and they hide it under freedom. And people just don't recognize they haven't been free for a long time.
Oh, exactly.
Nope, you have not.
And then something that I just want to kind of bring into perspective for the average American, the average listener and viewer today is kind of how this affects you is you pay your taxes, an astronomical amount out of your paychecks. I know out of my paycheck, they take a ton. I look at my check and I'm like, okay, there's a tax, 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 multiple different forms of taxes. They take your money and then this money is not tracked once it leaves your hands.
Yep.
Once it leaves your bank account, there's no way to have a paper trail of where your tax money went. And then it's ending up in the hands of people that are profiting off of it and fraudulently gaining that money. So how this affects every single one of you that is currently listening and or watching is this is theft from the American people done through tax fraud.
Yeah.
Because the government is fraudulently taxing you if they're not giving you a receipt to where your money is being used.
And keep in mind, it doesn't leave your bank account. It's taken from you before you even get paid.
Exactly.
Like, you can't even get paid before they take their fair share. That's extortion, in my opinion. That's freaking mafia.
And here's the thing.
Think how much.
Go ahead, Dave.
Think how much taxes could be lower if we had very little or no fraud. It could be way less.
Well, and here's the thing, too. There is nowhere in any IRS tax documentation that actually says that you legally have to pay taxes. There's nothing in there that says you legally have to do this. But if you don't, they're still going to take you to court and take you to jail for tax evasion. But if there's no law stating that it is illegal to withhold your taxes from the government, how can they prosecute?
Actually,
that
studying
is ridiculous.
I was going to say studying into the IRS is actually really interesting. I did that before. It's District of Columbia actually is where they're actually centered out of. Those people are considered different citizens and American citizens. It's just really interesting that we just decided to pay into the system and for the good of the people, and we just blindly do it. So Andy Frisella talked about this recently too, and I totally agree with it. Like, we are so enslaved and we don't realize we're enslaved. We are the baby elephant that had a chain around our freaking ankle, and we get older and we don't have the chain around us, but we're still slave.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And we're a slave to people who could care less about anything aside from their pocketbook.
Well, the people that don't care about us or everybody, a redacted file is something that just has a couple lines blocked. They release some of those Epstein lists. It's black pages. So I'm just like, those are the people we're paying taxes to. Yeah. These are the people that we put in power. We're responsible for those people, those children. We are totally responsible. All the American people since the last at least 40 years, I would say, we're responsible for what Epstein did to them because we paid into a system blindly. We didn't band together. We don't want to know our neighbor. We refuse to actually retaliate or do anything. And I don't mean violence. Like, the most peaceful way for me is actually like not filing my taxes. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
exactly. And then something that actually hit me when you were just saying that, Ash, is God calls all of us to be good stewards of what he has given us, of our finances. Personally, for me, it makes me think, is paying taxes being a good steward?
No.
No.
Not right now.
At this point, it's taking me to a point where I'm like, okay, do I even do this? Because is it a wise steward of what God has given me? Am I going to pay the government thousands of dollars to put it who knows where, when I could take that same, let's say, I owe the government $2,000, $3,000. I can take that same money and I can go bless a family in a
My
way
thing
that
is,
they aren't going to get blessed by the government.
Scripture is going to get used to pay Caesar his due nonsense. Okay, they were under a dictatorship, and that dictator ruled, meaning that was their money. It had their face on it. It belonged to him. What is actually the money of the people? Because this country was established by people, not by a dictator. So it really is pay Caesar his due. Who's Caesar in this sense? It's back to the people, to your fellow man, in my opinion, not to a government entity that has too many of its tentacles within the system that's strangling us. It's going to kill us. It's like we're a thriving plant and we have a weed next to us. You have to pull up the weed. Otherwise, it's going to choke out and take all the nutrients out of the good plant. I learned this as a child. So in my opinion, you cannot use the scripture, pay Caesar his due, because I've heard some pastors say that. And I'm like, no, this government was established differently than the government that was being ruled at the time of Jesus' time and any other world power at the time and after. We are literally unique, and no one seems to understand that.
And here's the big part too. The United States, the reason why we became the United States was to get away from the taxation of the British. But what has happened now? If you actually look at between us and UK, we are taxed in a heavier rate than any European country. What did we escape? We escaped something so that we could just do it to ourselves.
Over tea. We rebelled over tea.
Yeah.
Well, the founders and the Pilgrims escaped, but they allowed it back in through the generations.
Because
like my dad didn't pay attention to politics. Exactly. History repeats itself. My dad didn't pay attention to politics, so he didn't vote at first when he was able to. And who knows how many generations that's true for millions of families. So when you're not paying attention and getting involved, it's easy to be taken advantage of without even knowing it.
And with that being said, I want to make sure to encourage every single viewer, every single listener, vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I want you to just go out to the polls, even if it's a local, state, or federal election. Cast your ballot. Be a part of that. Number one, you can't complain about somebody not getting elected or somebody getting elected if you didn't have a part in either making it happen or making it not happen. So all these people who literally, I have talked to so many of them, they're like, oh, well, I'm so upset that, Sleepy Joe won the last election. I said, well, did you vote? They're like, well, no, I didn't see the need. Well, then you can't complain. You cannot complain if you didn't go and do your due diligence. So that's why I really want to just push that to everybody. If you are not registered to vote, go online, register to vote. It is super, super simple to register to vote, and it's free. You do not have to pay to register to vote. You don't have to pay to vote. You just simply have to register, and then on the day of the polls, go in. Never, ever do a mail-in ballot because it may not make it. Always vote in person every single time at your local precinct.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because that's the only way to end this stuff, especially this fraud. We've got to get people into leadership who have like-mindedness, who believe that there needs to be change, and that have faith in God and listen to the Holy Spirit to be able to make those changes actually happen. Thankfully, we have a president and vice president right now that are absolutely amazing men. People are going to give me flack for this one, and I don't care. We have two men in office that are willing to do what it takes, no matter how hard or how long, to make sure that the American people are finally put first. And this needs to happen in every state at the state level, every city at the city level, and every
county.
Even township and county needs to have this strength that our presidential office is showing now.
Yeah, the people in leadership, or servantship is really what we should call it, should have America's values first, despite their political party, despite their religious situation. They should have America first. What's best for all of Americans to make us stronger and independent.
It's we the people, not we the leaders.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to be a real leader is to be a servant anyway. Like that's
Exactly.
biblical, and every
Right.
CEO is going to teach you that has a successful company.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that, folks, unfortunately, we are out of time for this week's episode. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you like what we say, you don't like what we say, drop a comment below. We would love to talk to you. We would love to have that open forum of conversation with you. If there's also a topic that you would like to hear us talk about and hear what our take is on it and some of the critical thinking steps that we take, please drop that comment below with the topic that you like us to take a look into, and we will see if it's something that we are able to do. I can't promise anything, but I will definitely look forward to hearing about those comments. And again, we are so happy that Dave is back in studio with us on this episode. We hope to have him continuing to stay in. But I mean, honestly, today's episode, y'all, you have to take this seriously. You have to take the fraud and everything seriously, because it's happening not just in Minnesota, not just in Ohio, not just in Pennsylvania. It is happening everywhere. Every city, every state, every municipality
Right.
has it. Even the federal government and the Pentagon, which I invite you to look at the Pentagon and their financial records. They have failed another audit for the 2025 season. So it's happening everywhere. So keep your eyes open, stay vigilant, and above all, think critically.
I agree with that.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. And do you have anything that you'd like to say to our viewers here before we close out for today?
I'd just say, since it is a new year, I just challenge people to take time to become better. You know, greatness isn't something you achieve down the road. Greatness is something you achieve today. And then you stack today with tomorrow and tomorrow with the next day. And before you know it, you look back and you go, whoa, look how I've changed. Look how I'm better. So chase greatness today and be the example to your community, because who else is going to do it? There's nobody. It's you. You watching here are the person that's going to change the culture. So take your responsibility as an American seriously and do the work.
Absolutely, Dave. I could not agree more with you. But I want to just thank everybody for watching this week's episode of Today's Truth Podcast. And I hope to see you back next week when we have another episode. Have a good night.